In this episode of Mythic Plus Moments in Season 2 of The War Within, we're going to be taking a look at a couple of Cops keys that have some interesting stuff go on, but we're also going to take a moment to let you guys know that today, at the time of recording this, Cop has started his 1 to max level marathon leveling on the Mop Classic client. If you don't know, there's a story here. I actually talked about this in the podcast me and Harry and Siler did, which is still on the channel. Siler kind of made this famous where he did a 1 to whatever max level is in Mop back during Mr. Pandaria, like back in 2012 kind of thing. It became a huge thing. He didn't want to keep doing it, but Cop picked up the banner and he started to do it. More recently, they made leveling so fast on Live WoW that I just think it's just not really interesting to him anymore. You can easily complete it without even being tired, but it's meant to be like a marathon, like you are going to go at least 1 full day without sleep, maybe 2, maybe 3, depending on how it goes. So he is back with his first actual like multi-day one in a very, very long time, and it's all for charity. All the money that he raises for this goes to, I believe, St. Jude's is his charity of choice, and he should already be like many hours into it by the time this video goes live. So if you guys are interested in that, come on over. I'm going to be spending as much time as possible in his stream cheering him on. He's going to need a lot of cheering on, let's put it that way. It's a pretty arduous task, but let's get to the reviews because they are notable. First one has kind of become a bane of Cop's existence, especially more recently. We are again in theater. This is always kind of funny to me when we have a Azralon and Quothalos dynamic. It's not really like combative or anything like that, but I think it is kind of funny. Priest is like, you have lead, do a ready check, and the guy just puts the key in, or somebody puts the key in. I don't know whose key it actually is, but we just start the key without a ready check. We start the key without a timer, and we're just going. Always cracks me up. That feels like a low-key moment, but it's happening here in a 13. So we are starting the first boss, and we're going to have some problems here with the mage. So let's pay attention to his health pool. First death of the dungeon going to come out here. Raging Tantrum also going out, but we have the circles, which I think ultimately is what kills him. I'm not really sure because he dies like really quick there, but that is our first death of the dungeon. Then we're going to battle res him. Obviously, we're fighting a boss. We want him alive, so we're going to use the battle res. He's going to come on up, and he's dead again. All right, thanks for stopping by. So that's 2 deaths to basically 1 death. Immediately goes offline. Offline, I mean, I don't know. I was hoping when I read the description of this that the guy might have been lagging the whole time, and that's why he's gone offline like we've seen a few times, but this one seems to me like the plug was pulled. And we have our first question mark. So this is notable because of the behavior of the mage, but also the way it plays out from the tank's perspective. They actually kill this boss, and while they're still fighting it, the Death Knight tank says report mage. I guess at this point he's sure the mage isn't coming back. I don't know why you wouldn't come back after that, but it really does blur the line, and that's why this is so interesting, because Blizzard's kind of got their hands full here with this situation in the next season. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to handle it. We still haven't gotten any info from them on how they're going to handle it. My perspective on this is if you go offline enough that you would incur the penalty, you should incur the penalty for that. Like say if you have to leave like 20 keys or something like that to get the penalty, then if you DC 20 times, then you should probably get the penalty, because that's not acceptable. But you know, there's a lot of gray area there. Who knows if it's actually an internet issue, so we'll see how it plays out. But I just thought it was funny that the guy's talking about reporting him. You can't report somebody for going offline, and then we are going to talk about potentially continuing, but they just don't even try here or something like that. They just give up. These 2 guys just want to stop where the tank wants to continue, and that's going to be the key. This one's interesting to me because it is actually something we ran into on my live stream as well. I'm wondering if anybody else has had this happen to them. Strangely enough, the mage says he's not going to lust the first pull, he's going to lust the second pull, even though we do like, yeah, pretty big pull here. Yeah, this has become normal. We pull both sides and the middle. The pack on the right is not easy to get in. I think it's really requiring a death grip, and we just don't do it. The Death Knight just kind of dies like instantly. A lot of lightning bolts going out, all right? And you're going to see one mob very, very specifically. In fact, I will pause it and show this to you more clearly. This mob is at 100% health. There's another mob over here, by the way, which we still haven't aggroed in all the way, but this mob is at 100% health. Everything else is in the 50s, 60s-ish, and this mob is just not dying. And we have a big issue here because not only is the mob not dying, but it's not getting interrupted either. And that is because it is evading, and they're going to comment on that right now. And from my experience, it is evading because somebody is standing up on that ledge, but they got aggro on it before the tank did. I think this is a really common issue with Resto Druid, I would imagine, because they're predominantly going to do some hot healing, and I imagine that will take some kind of aggro before the tank. This is exactly how it went with me. We actually see a bunch of hots on people already, and then we see the guy is just going to jump down, and he's going to stand there, and you know, this is pretty normal to stand there. We've seen a lot of people do that, but we see everybody else actually jumps down and continues. Like Mage is actually down here doing his rotation down here instead. So the only person up there is the Druid, and you're actually going to see this mob. Yes, it is targeting the Druid. It's actually turning to the Druid, and it is going to cast lightning bolt right up there. You see see it just goes right past everybody down here, and it is going to hit the druid. Now, this is only a 10, so I don't expect it to be this big of a problem, to be honest. You just can't interrupt the mob because it's evading, it can't be kicked, so that's like every single cast that goes out is doing full damage, makes it pretty much impossible. I was going to say insanely hard, but to be honest, probably impossible to actually heal through, and nobody ever identifies this issue, and it's always been with Resto Druid, and I don't know exactly why, but there's a little bit more to it than just that, because the Death Knight who dies instantly says this: "I'm inting, sorry," which just means he sucks, I guess. I don't know why people use slang like this, but this is what he's trying to say. My bad. So he comes back, but like everybody else is dying, and again, I'm not really sure why they would die to this, but it is also causing evading mobs, and then there goes that guy. He just runs out of the dungeon instead of continues. Like, I mean, I don't know what the problem is. We didn't Bloodlust. Like, just pull the pack again. It's a 10. This was a while ago, but still, I don't know. Yeah, this behavior really frustrates me. It's funny that they wiped or potentially had issues because of the evading. They say like some really weird shit here. The healing druid says, yeah, they're not dying. Like, what? No, it's just a one mob. You know that? Like, it was just a one mob that was evading. Ultimately, doesn't matter because that guy leaves after one death. And then the actual crown jewel of these three is going to be this one. We start the dungeon with some conversation going on. The hunter, who's the only bloodlust in the group, says, "Lust first pull." The priest says, "Yeah, we can, but it's up to the tank." And the tank says, "Okay." So I guess that's him answering the question. The countdown has begun. We're about to put the key in. Here it comes. We see this fellow's from Quel'Thalas again. Just talked about this in the previous runs. Here we go. The key has been put in, and it is now time to start the dungeon. You might have seen this actually play out in a video a couple weeks ago, but we're not going to start the dungeon. I don't know why. The guy was just moving. Like, literally, he was moving seconds before this happens, and now he's just standing there. They're poking him, like, poke. I mean, I don't think that works. The priest is laughing. I mean, obviously, this seems like it might be some kind of trolling, right? Like, this looks really bad. Like I said in the previous video a couple weeks ago, the guy was, like, inspecting people or something like that, and then decided to leave because he didn't like people's item level. That's not happening here. This guy's just actually just AFK. He's just AFK. All right, he's finally moving 45 seconds into the dungeon. It's time to go. Here we go. But we are in Cinderbrew, are we not? And look at the chart. Oh no, what's happening now? He's offline. How does this fucking happen? I really don't understand this. It doesn't look like he's offline. I mean, I guess maybe he's lagging so bad that all of this happened in the past, but look, by the time he gets in combat, I'm gonna pause it when he gets in combat. Watch this. You can see the character moving, and you see him just kind of stop here. He's in combat. The second he gets in combat, he's also offline. So they're gonna do the first pull. They're gonna still Bloodlust. They still use the Bloodlust spell, even though the tank got offline the second he pulled the pack. The priest tries to tell people about the DC, but it is too late. We've now just committed Bloodlust and probably a ton of major CDs. The weird comment is that the priest thinks he's gone. So he was like AFK and then he DC'd or whatever. Like, you got to imagine those two are combined into one thing there. So I don't know why he would immediately assume that he's left or something. I don't know. Maybe he's just saying like he's offline, but tank confirmed offline by Cop, and then the mobs confirmed invading Dornagal by everybody. Here's Cop respawning, and the mobs are going to be waiting for him at the entrance like they have a vendetta against his Canadian antics. Maybe they're not happy about the pineapple pizza. I don't know. Go ask him about that on stream. He'll have some comments for you. Anyway, so now they're in the dungeon again. We're 2 minutes into the dungeon. We used Bloodlust, and the tank is actually offline, but he's back. Okay, so they're talking about it like it's done. Sorry about your key. Yeah, that's sad. Want to do the 9. Sorry, farming portals. Oh, look who's moving around again. All right. Quel'Thalas Demon Hunter back to the original position. His only comment so far is Blizzard, blaming the company or something, or I'm not sure what he's doing, to be honest, but we're going to continue. He's just going to run over here without everybody even being aware that he's back, I think. I bet most people probably think he's still offline. I don't know how he doesn't die. I mean, that could have been an absolute amazing way to come back. Just watch him walk into his own death again, but he does actually survive it. So we're continuing like nothing happened. On to the boss now. Boss at 50%. We're absolutely nuking this boss. Getting a little strange tanking wise though here. Just kind of tanking him in a corner, which I definitely do not recommend. I mean, this is really, really bad because the dust clouds or whatever those things are, the people like brawling, are going to gradually drift over towards us. So Cop's going to get stuck in one. He's actually going to get out of that one without taking really any damage at all. So that's really nice. And then he's going to try to run through the middle of those for some reason. So that's not going to work. He's going to die. Priest is also going to die here. Try to pay attention to where they are. They're just like jumping around and they get knocked back into the cloud and then they die inside the cloud. So they're just like dancing through the fire and then die to getting knocked back into the cloud. We're going to battle res Cop though, and he's going to actually take it, meaning that we don't have a battle res for the priest. I have no idea what Cop's about to do. Then he's gonna try to suicide, I guess, successfully, and that's another death there. So that's our 12th death on the fight. No priest coming up, so that means it is a total wipe, and the tank Demon Hunter DC ultimately doesn't even matter for this key because they're gonna wipe to the first boss regardless. Good game, and people are running outside the dungeon, including the priest. Demon Hunter is like still standing here. Like, I don't know, is he DC'd again? He's just standing still. Sometimes you wonder, like, people are not expecting it to disband and they're hoping it doesn't or something, and they just stand there, but that is ultimately going to be it for the key. So we got got 3 keys that are going to be very, very different looking in season 3, I think. Just some lighthearted stuff. Cop always submits such great keys, man. I always love reviewing his keys, man. If you guys are interested at all, come hang out. 1 to max level on Mop Classic. It's going to be wild. It's where it all started. This is truly a legendary time for us, honestly. Like, if it wasn't for Siler doing these, I think a lot of the stuff I'm doing right now and a lot of the stuff Cop has done in the past would not have happened. It's all inspired by those early days, especially during Mop, where Siler was a maniac, putting out tons of content and doing crazy events. I cannot wait to see how it goes for Cop, and I just love Mop in general, so I can't wait to see him do some questing in Mop again. But we'll have more reviews coming throughout this week. Not going to stream it all this week, just going to keep pumping out these reviews. So I hope to see you guys in the stream. If not, we will see you guys in the next one.